awesome live stream with yours truly. I do I like Bouquet. How you doing, man? Hope y'all doing good. And today is the part 6 of the Karjakz Vs Assassins universe. As I've grown from version 1 to version 2, version 3, version 4, version 5, and now version 6. And version 6, excuse me, is what led to the creation of Karjakz Vs Assassins Training, my first official comic book. I think the story of my rise to my characters, how I've grown them exponentially, how I've gotten them this far, is pretty simple. I think it was important to do this episode because I've been talking about it. Usually I do these on Monday, but the schedule is brutal, man. I got school on Mondays, and it's just hard as hell to do it. You know what I mean? If I'm not working, I'm working. If I'm not working, I'm schooling. If I'm not schooling, I'm... So I've been wanting to get to this. I took off last week just to get a breather because, man, the holidays are brutal. And finals are around the corner, so there's a lot of work on my plate. But today is about Karjakz Assassins universe. From how I got to version 1, which is this right here, to get into the comic book right here, version 6 of the characters. And each character, of course, as you know, from the Karjakz, the heroes, to the assassins, the villains. It's taken a lot of work, man. And to get to this far, it means that I've chosen to make a commitment to myself, not to let others decide what I'm going to make and what I'm not going to make or how I'm going to go about it. I just, like, this is what I'm going to do. And I just went and did it. And that's probably the biggest thing that I'm most proud of. But before I get going, man, I got to thank everybody that continue to follow the channel. Last I checked, we're at 9,294 subscribers. That's a lot of people. Excuse me, y'all. That's a lot of people. In fact, give me a second, y'all. What's up, man? So, I mean, for me, my biggest thing is that I finally got to get to the comic book. And to get to the comic book, you have to understand the journey started in 2009. I finished the first version of my characters in 2012. 2012, exactly, October 19, 2012. That was the date that I actually printed my first poster. My first poster ever printed. It was a 24 by 36 poster. Give me a second. Hey, y'all, welcome to the chat. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate y'all joining me. Karjakz Vs Assassins universe, man. Part 6. Me breaking down everything, how the Karjakz Vs Assassins universe got created. Y'all, I gotta tell you, first of all, I gotta thank everybody that continues to join the channel, follows the channel. We're at 1,294 subscribers. That's incredible. That goal of 1,300 I want to get to before the end of the year, looks like I'm about to get to it before the end of the year. Hopefully I do. I can't thank y'all enough, man. The supporting of the channel, the growth of the channel, it's awesome, man. You know what I'm saying? But can't thank y'all enough. The first, I think for me, in starting from, if you got something that looks like this, right, which is version 1 of my characters versus version 6 of my characters, you can see the growth of the art scale, man. It took a long time to get like this, man. So I remember when I started the journey, you had various versions, and I kept on telling myself, the only way I'm gonna get to where I gotta go is I just gotta keep going. So I started going to comic expos, but to get to the version 6 of the characters, I have version 1, version 2. So this is version 1 of the characters. Let's start off with that. Then I'm gonna show y'all version 2. Well, I call it 2, 3, and 4. Then you got 5, and then you got 6. And that's how the whole thing got created. So this is version 1. This is how the whole idea of Karjakz Assassins actually got started. The characters looking like this, from the heroes, the Karjakz, to the villains, the assassins. You got Cajun, you got Escalade, you got Diesel, you got Sphinx right there, you got Sincere, you got Shepard, you got Glocks, you got Rasputin. And then of course you got the villain side, Revo, Excursion, Snipes, Kanji, Sanusi, Yukon, Artillery, and then of course the Coyotes, then Seth right there. So that's how I built all the characters, man. I just kind of told myself, well, from one version to another. And you know, when you first start drawing, you kind of don't know what you're doing. You're just happy to just be drawing something. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happened to me. Oh yeah, before I forget, let me see, what's gonna be my poll question of the day? Actually, I got a better question. This is super cool, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me. Appreciate y'all joining me. I'm writing the poll question of the day. I'm totally trying to like come up with, I always come up with something cool. I gotta tell you, I love this stuff. You're either staying or you're going. Yeah, thank y'all for hitting the like button. There we go, I got the poll question. So, as I was saying, all I'm really gonna do is talk to you about from version 1 all the way to version 6. And I'm gonna scroll through version 1, because version 1 is really to compare the version 1 to version 6. The only way to really do it is to use the old bio book, which is this right here. So I'm gonna let you see the whole thing. This is how the whole journey got started. If I never created this book, if I never had the characters looking like this, I wouldn't have version 1. And nobody wants to see the old version 1. Everybody wants to see the most recent thing. That's not how this works. It doesn't work like that, because when you create characters, you don't even know what you're gonna get to do with them. All you know is you got your own characters, and it's different than drawing something that somebody else has already drawn and then saying, oh, I redrew it again. That's totally different. When you create your own characters, you're giving them the storyline. If you're fortunate to have a team around you, then each person in that team has got an assigned job. So maybe somebody's the character creator. Somebody's a storyteller. You know, somebody's the artist. It depends on the yeah, same to you. Welcome. Same to you. Somebody's the what you call it? Different roles in the whole thing. For me, I had to be the role for everything. So I was drawing all these characters, and I was also giving them the names, profiles, background, telling their individual stories. So you know, this is the original Karjakz right here, right? You got Cajun right here, as you well know. Everybody knows about him by now. You know what I'm saying? Cajun and Sphinx over here, but he doesn't look like this no more. They got Escalade. You know what I'm saying? She don't look like that no more. You got Glocks. You got Rasputin. You got Diesel. You got Sincere. You got Shepard, right? Those are the heroes. Then you got the villains, led by Lord Sanusi, the assassins, right? So you got Sanusi in the center, Kanji, Revo, Artillery, Coyotes, Seth, Yukon, Snipes, Excursion. And these are all the characters. These are the villains, right? So you got Sanusi and Seth right here. Sanusi's the leader of the assassins. Then you've got Artillery, General, second in command of the assassins. And then you got Excursion, third in command of the assassins. Then you got Kanji, the daughter of Sanusi. And then you got Revo, the son of Sanusi. They got Snipes, right? The purple hair bombshell. You got Yukon, who don't look like that no more. Yeah, all the characters look different now, man. And then, of course, you got the Coyotes. So this was the first bio book I get. And then you got 2, 3, and 4. You can see the evolution of the drawing. This is, I just want to show you comparison. I'm not even gonna, you see that? That's the evolution, that's the comparison. Version 1, version 2, 3, and 4. You got the Karjakz. You see how they starting to look? They look nothing like they used to look. This is when the transition started changing, man. You can tell I got better with the color thing. I guess you have to kind of understand how to create what you're creating when you're creating it. I think that part is very important. And then you got Rasputin. You got, so let's go back. Same thing again. You got Cajun right there and Sphinx. You can see they look completely different when I showed you the first book. Then you got Escalade, right? She looks completely different. At this point, y'all, I started getting better with color schemes. And I got to be honest with you, I was like, yeah, I think I got something special here. And once I figured that out, that part is probably the hardest part, figuring out how you're going to do what you're going to do without going to seek the help of like corporations or whatever nonsense. I always wanted to be independent. And I remember for the longest time I could not get my characters to be seen at comic expos. Around 2015, oh, it got crazy. It got crazy cool. I've been on a mission ever since then. You got Rasputin, you got Diesel, then you got Sincere, you got Shepard. You can see the way the color scheme is on each character on all the drawings that I'm doing. Evolution, man. It's all about the evolution. Then you got the assassins led by Lord Sun Tzu right here. As you can see, they don't look nothing like the old ones. So you got Sun Tzu, Seth. This is pretty cool, man. I gotta tell y'all. You got artillery, you got excursion. And if you look at this versus the version 1, you can tell the colors are more fulfilled, which is what's supposed to happen. Hopefully that's happening for anybody who's creating, man. I know for me it is. You know what I'm saying? Then you got, oh, sorry, y'all. Okay, you got artillery, you got excursion, you got Kanji, you got Revo. So Revo might be the best fighter in the whole Karjakz Vs Assassins universe. Yeah, he's that sick. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Snipes and you got Yukon. Then of course you got the Coyotes again. And remember, this is version 2, 3, and 4. So then when I compare version 2, 3, and 4, and still only the beginning is to what you compare to everything else. Look at this. Tell me that ain't sick. So look, you see the difference in the drawings when I first started versus where I am now. And then guess what you got? You got the inside. Version 1, version 5. Tell me that is not cool. You can't tell me that ain't cool. That's where we are right there. You know what I mean? And look at how cool that is. You got the Karjakz version 1, you got the Karjakz version 5. That's night and day in difference in color scheme. I don't know. I can't particularly put my finger on what made me just change my style. No, I didn't change my style. I kind of just like went nuclear, man. I just was like, my drawing skills just evolved like to another level. I'm like over here sometimes like, yo, I drew this. This is sick as hell. And you can't really wait on nobody to validate what you're doing. To be honest with you, if you want to know what's good for you, please don't sit there and be one of those who's waiting for somebody to validate you. They ain't never gonna validate you. They barely want to tell you how good you are. So I didn't really seek anybody's props. I had self-confidence, self-belief, everything in what I was doing, because only me was thinking of the idea and only me was drawing. So I really don't need nobody else's approval to do what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's the Karjakz, right? That's the comparison. Now look, you got the Karjakz, again, Cajun, Glocks, Rasputin, Escalade, Sphinx, Sincere, Shepard, Diesel. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, you got Cajun and Sphinx. By now, y'all know those names. You got Escalade, you got Glocks. Yeah, this is cool, right? You got Rasputin, you got Diesel. Yeah, I'm telling my story. It's the only way I know how to tell it. Shit, what else am I gonna do? You got Sincere, you got Shepard. This is super cool. Then you got the assassins led by Lord Sun Tzu, right? Lord Sun Tzu, look, let's compare the assassins to the old assassins. Look at that. Tell me that ain't sick. That's where it's at. Today's ain't about longevity. Today's just my part explaining a quick story. You know what I mean? And then of course you got the assassins. So you got Yukon, you got Snipes, you got Kanji, you got Revo, you got Sun Tzu, you got let me see. You got Excursion, you got Seth, you got Artillery. Of course you got Sun Tzu in the middle and the Coyotes in the corner. Now, I remember me thinking like, okay, we got something special here. And you don't realize how cool your character is till you actually, I think as a person who creates characters, I generally don't tend to get too excited when I create the characters unless it's just somebody I think the only time I really got super excited about creating my characters was when the version 1. Then as I went through subsequent versions, it was more like, wow, I'm excited the fact that I evolved and actually able to do this. It became more of a skill and more of a mission, a personal mission. You know what I mean? So you got Sanusi, Seth, right? And thank all of y'all for joining me and being part of the chat tonight too. I don't know what y'all want me to say, but I'm gonna talk about my comic books. You got artillery, you got excursion. Remember, everything I'm showing you is the lead up to what I'm about to show you next. Kanji, Revo, Snipes, Yukon. Then of course you got the Coyotes. The Coyotes right there. Now this is the version 3, 2, 3, 4, right? 2, 3, 4, and 5. No, excuse me, version 5. And this is the bio book version 3. But the characters themselves, version 5, oh, that's a different ball game. Now we got to version 6. What's crazy is if you look at version 1 compared to version 6, you can't tell who's who because now everybody's got a mask. I kind of thought to myself, like, why am I letting my characters have no mask? This makes no sense. And thank everybody for joining me. Thank all 13 of y'all, or 24, however many of y'all was in the chat, man. You know what I mean? Hey, we over there doing magical things over here, man. One vote, nobody's gonna vote. You'd rather only be. It's a trip, man. People don't want you to talk about original ideas. They want you to play the usual nonsense. Marvel, DC. I'm not doing that. That's not happening. You know what I mean? So, Karjakz version 1, Karjakz vs 6. You can see the Karjakz Vs Assassins universe, the way the ones in the Karjakz, the heroes look versus the Karjakz, the villains. I really think I did a great job of equalizing the drawings in terms of villains. Now with this book, you can see evolution. And the only way I can show you all my evolution is to show you the poster. So look, let me show you. I'm gonna use the posters to explain each character. Remember how I was showing y'all the Karjakz, the heroes? Well, this is the entire thing right here. Karjakz Vs Assassins universe right there. There you have it right there. Now, one at a time. Let's start having a look at these people. Look at that. You got Karjakz, right? I got to tip my GGI. You got Diesel. You got Sincere. You got Cajun. You got Escalade. You got Glocks. You got Shepard. You got Sphinx. And you got Rasputin. So that's what happened right there. You know what I mean? And then, of course, you got Cajun and Sphinx. Look at how evolved they are versus what I used to be. Oh, thank all of y'all for the likes. I see that we're getting some likes tonight. Appreciate that, man. Y'all be sure to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. And maybe some more people are gonna vote. I don't know. But hopefully you show up to vote. So, you know, I always got these awesome questions. So you got Cajun and Sphinx. And Cajun and Sphinx are completely game changers. Tell me that ain't cool, man. Look at that. The evolution of, and these characters, once I got to version 5 is what allowed me to create the comic book. It's why I am where I am now today. If I never created version 5 of my bio book, I wouldn't be here right now. You know what I mean? I would not know what to do. So part of giving yourself credit for what you're doing is giving yourself credit for not knowing what you're doing, but instinctually make it happen. You know what I mean? So that's Cajun and Sphinx right there. That's so sick, man. Then next up, you got Escalade. You got, look at this. Escalade, you know what I'm saying? And look, remember how I based the characters. The characters based on me. Then what my pet would look like in real life. So Cajun is my character. You got Escalade, who's my sister's character. Efforts Colonel, aka the tactical strategist. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, before I forget, Cajun's real name is Jones Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? And then of course he's got his sister, Sarah Phoenix, who's Escalade. Then you got Sincere, Scarlet Gray. Scarlet Gray is his dream girl. His slash, you know, I'm trying to figure out what. Well, I have to give her a title, and that's a title she deserves. So I've decided she's the dream girl. She's his dream girl, Cajun. And then of course you get to see evolution of the characters. Look at Sincere. Nothing like she used to. None of these people look nothing like they used to. And they're all covered. Their armor is completely covered. Look at Glocks. Look at Rasputin. I remember when I got to work, people were clapping. I mean, got to WonderCon or something, at the Comic Con, and people were clapping because people were clapping. People were clapping because they were like, dude, I've never seen anything like this. I kind of took a lot of. I think the biggest journey to get to version 6 is the fact that I actually have faith in what I'm doing. I'm not talking about no religious crap. I'm talking about I just believed in myself. Because I would go to these comic expos and would nobody buy nothing from none of my characters. My characters couldn't get no shine whatsoever till I do version 5 right here. And I remember creating version 5 and said, okay, I'm finally going to print this thing. So I print it. And I'm like, wow, this is incredible. You don't get to this far unless you actually have belief in yourself. So, you know, you got Glocks, who's based on my younger brother. You got Rasputin, who's based on my other younger brother. Part of our growth and evolution is just understanding what you're doing as an artist, who you are as an artist, where you want to go as an artist, and just getting it done. Making no excuses. Then you got the next set of characters. You got Diesel, who's the strong guy, who's based on my older brother. And then you got Shepard. You know, you're evolving. So Diesel, Shepard. Shepard is, I think each character, because you can tell, like if I was to, oh man, the best way to go, you can tell the evolution of each character just by looking at how, first I'm going to skim through the characters real quick, and then I'm going to come back and compare it to the old comic so you can see it. And this is why I'm showing you this version, because this poster is the only I can show you. It can actually show you the characters themselves. I can't show you the comic book because the comic book is for sale. You know what I mean? So you got Karjakz, you got Shepard, and you got Diesel. So next up, you got the assassins, the villains, led by Lord Sanusi, Overlord. Sanusi is the counter of Cajun, but I feel like Sanusi is the antagonist that is misunderstood. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was trying to create. Then you got the assassins. You got Yukon, you got Kanji, Sanusi, Snipes, Excursion, Sanusi. Let me see right here. It's hard to see these things. So here, look, Yukon, Kanji, Sanusi, Artillery, Revo, let me see, Snipes, Excursion, the Coyotes right there, and of course Seth, and then of course you got Revo on the front. I mean, it's just evolution, man. Dude, 10 years, wait, 2012, so that would be 10 years plus 3 more years. Yeah, so 13 years of doing this. 13 years, I have to count. Well, I should technically count from since I started in 2009. So 2009 to 2012, that's about, I would say about 16 years, man. 16 years of creating this universe. That, to me, is amazing. Then, of course, you got Sanusi and Seth. You can see there's a vast difference in what they look like, how they like, where I want them to look like. I'm pretty grateful for that. To actually have achieved that is quite the achievement. You know what I mean? So then next up, so you got, before I skip, you got Sanusi and you got Seth right there. You know what I mean? So remember, Sanusi is based on me. He's based on me. He's my villain side. If I was ever going to be a villain, I'd be this dude right here. This dude is the dude. You know what I mean? And then you got Artillery, right? You got Artillery. You got Excursion. What the hell does mod mean? What the hell? Y'all say some kinds of crazy stuff on the TikTok. Like, don't assume everybody knows what the hell you mean when you say something. I have no idea what mod me means, and it's gonna make me just ignore it because I don't know you. That's kind of weird and creepy. So now look, back to what I was talking about. You got Artillery, right? Leader of the assassins, and you can tell there is a new evolution up in here, boy. You know, this is, before I forget, look, I didn't even show you Sanusi. Look at that. That's sick, man. Hey, let me tell you, to have come this far with these characters, it's a must, yes. You know what I mean? Look at that Excursion. You got Kanji. You got Revo. You got Snipes. You got Yukon. And then, of course, you got the Coyotes. So, tell you what, if somebody says something I don't really like it's called me blocking it or just me straight up ignoring you. So it's going to be one or the other. I don't have time for BS. So look, part of growing as an artist is understanding what you're doing. So look, y'all, and then of course the whole growth of the comic book, the version 6, which was going to be part of what the comic book is how this comic book got created. Karjakz Vs Assassins Training Day, which everything I was doing was to bring up to this point right here, this book, Karjakz Vs Assassins Training Day. I can't stress the importance of how long it took, how much work went into this comic book, how many hours of no sleep I was getting, the amount of years it took to create it. 9 years to be exact, actually, because I started in 2016 and then didn't finish till 2025. That's a long time. And of course we went through the pandemic and there's a whole bunch of stuff you couldn't do. And then I was driving Uber at the time. I was literally creating the comic book while I was driving Uber. Hey, I did what I had to do I was hustling, man. Just getting in work and just making all the money I can without having to go beg any bank or any institution let me have my dream. These banking institutions don't give a damn about people's dreams. The best thing they love saying is no to you. And the best thing I love saying to them is no as well, because I don't need you no more. You know what I'm saying? Once you build your own thing, you don't have to go beg anybody, because the money you're making, you put it back towards what you're doing. And if you're doing everything right like you're supposed to, you're going to keep growing. You know, it's the book itself. When I first released the book, the first version was this version 7.5 right there. And the second one was this 8.5. And the reason why I released the 8.5 is because, well, I figured people wanted bigger size of comic books and also to be able to see. So look, you got, in terms of size difference, you can see how much more bigger it is. You can even compare it. Look at this. Most people are like, I'd rather have the bigger one, which is what most people order. Now, if you love original ideas, original concepts, this is where the Karjakz Vs Assassins Training Day comic book comes in. All that stuff that I showed you, all this right here, this is what led to this right here. You don't get to this right here unless you understand what this is about. And I kind of realized a while back I want to create my own animation series. I want to have my own comic series. I didn't want to take any orders from anybody. I didn't want nobody telling me how to animate or what to animate. No, keep that shit to yourself. I was all about this is what I'm going to do, and that's exactly what I did. I got to tell you, there's people are either going to respect what you're doing or they're not, and if they're mad about it, they're just mad about it. When you're a creator, you create what you want to create and just go forward. That's really the only direction you got. Don't bother going backwards now, because people want to see you go backwards anyway. So just go forwards. So when I created the book, you got small size, you got the version 1 of it, they got version 2. Then of course you got the front. Look at the art on this thing, man. This took forever. Like piecing each person and where they were gonna go on this cover was so hard. Man, it was difficult. Cause you gotta play it, and that takes time. That's like what they call those things? Something chairs or musical chairs or whatever you want to call it. That's where I got this from. You know what I mean? You should see the villains, right? Look at this. Let's look at a close. I've already shown you. Look at how they sit in the comic book. Remember, this without this bio book right here, I wouldn't have this comic book. I can't tell how many times I had to reference these bio books just to create this comic book. It's a lot of work. So look, you look at the front. I'm gonna keep it simple. Because it's simple, it's just art, it's just evolution. You can tell the characters don't look like they used to look before. And you may still be able to tell who is who, but you can't really tell who is who if you actually didn't know anything about Karjakz Vs Assassins universe. Then of course you flip it, you can see how balanced they are. You can see the bigger one and the smaller one. Most people that get the bigger one just want to have the smaller one, they just want to have a comic book. The people that get the bigger one are collectors in their hand. You know what I mean? Look at the back side of the comic book. And then of course, can't forget this, man. The comic book inside itself. Now, of course, I'm going to show you I am the creating artist. Right there. So all this info, the assassins, and then the design of the bio page. I got to tell you, for me, to have achieved this book is quite the undertaking and quite, man, the accomplishment. I released it on August 27, 2025, and since then it's been on and popping. You see the many videos that I got on YouTube, the many videos I got on TikTok, the many videos I got on Facebook. I've used Instagram some degree, and then, of course, Twitter. But if you're gonna do something like this, it's an evolution. I call it the part 5 because that's literally what it took. It took me 5 parts to create one part, which is to actually become evolved as to where I am right now with the Karjakz Vs Assassins universe. It's a job, it's a mission, it's your mission, it's your self-mission. Don't let nobody talk you out of your dream. I didn't let nobody talk me out of my dream. I just kind of didn't care what people thought. I wasn't seeking approval. So I was doing it because it's what I love to do. We as I like to say, we as people are very not evolved. If that makes any sense. Not very, very, very evolved. You know what I'm saying? People just, excuse me, y'all. People just think like you can just do whatever. No, this kind of journey is time consuming. Like, and what's great about now is that as I go to the comic expos, my characters are always taking #1 in sales. But in order to get to that part right there, you got to put in work, man. Let me see right there. You got to put in work. Nobody's going to do more work than the person that creates what they created. Unless you're just a lazy bum and want somebody to do the work. Like, I do the work, I write the stuff, and I write everything in this comic book. I decide every art piece. Look, like what it says right here. So y'all can see it properly. What's that say? I am the inker, the penciler, everything that you're gonna be to create a comic book. That's what I did, man. That's so much work. It's so much work. Even, look at that. That is so much work. Way so much work. So if you love comics, if you love evolution of characters, you gotta go get your version 5. Well, actually version 6 of my characters on my website, the drawing, but Karjakz Vs Assassins Training Day comic book, man. This is the ultimate evolution of the Karjakz Vs Assassins universe. And this book is only the beginning of many more books. Like, I'm working on 3D animation right now. I'm working on the comic book again, a different version of it, just to make it cooler. I'm working on art pieces because I'm gonna get ready to go to WonderCon. We got that in March, so I usually like to start drawing early. But yo, this is the evolution of the characters. This is how far I've come with all my characters. You know, it's allowed me to create. Guess what? Phone cases, glasses cases, what else? Sneakers, all kinds of stuff, man. You gotta really love yourself to know. You gotta love what you're doing, man. That way, the evolution of what you're doing can come back to you. So I'm grateful for where I am. So that's version 6 of my characters. That's literally how I got to version 6. And me wanting to create version 6 is what made me to realize I need to create a comic book. That's when I created a comic book. As I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Where I'm not doing nothing. I got to do a comic book, and it worked out pretty well. You know what I mean? So you ain't gonna see me complain. So look, check this out. Before I get up out of here, you've seen the posters. Well, you got to see the sneaker. Then after that, I'm up through. Look at that. You see this? Just to commemorate the comic book, guess what else I got? Sneakers. Guess what else I got? T-shirts. So this is the Karjakz Vs Assassins Training Day sneakers right here. This on one foot has got the Karjakz, the heroes. You know what I mean? This is pretty sick. Pretty sick. And then this foot has got the villains, the assassins, led by Lord Sanusi himself. Look at this. You got Sanusi, you got Artillery, you got Kanji, you got Revo, you got Excursion, you got Snipes, you got Steph, you got Yukon. Then on this one, on this sneaker, you got the heroes. Look, so the heroes are right here. Let me break down each shoe. And part of the comic book and creating version 6 is it leads to comic books, it leads to all kinds of cool stuff. Cajun, excuse me, you got Sphinx, you got Cajun, you got Escalade, you got Sincere, you got Shepherd, and then on the inside, you got Glocks, you got Rasputin, you got Sphinx, you got Shepherd right there again, and of course you got Diesel. That's the right foot. And then the left foot, sorry y'all, you got You got Sanusi artillery with the Batas logo. Tell me that ain't sick. You got Seth. You got Yukon. You got Snipes. You got Excursion right there. And you flip it on the inside. Guess what you got? More Excursion. Sanusi battling a Sanusi leading the charge, and this is Revo right here, son. This is Kanji, his daughter. Then of course you got you got Yukon. So you have to kind of know what you're doing. Or that's Snipes. Yep. So Snipes is up here. That's Snipes up there. It's just evolution, man, y'all. And I really got no complaints about me getting where I've gotten, how far I've gotten this far. It's pretty incredible. So let me put the sneaker back. That's pretty much the show for tonight. I told you, ain't no need to go too wordy, man. Sometimes it's just good to just have a short story. And my gratitude knows no bound in terms of what I've been able to accomplish. I only wish I had gotten to go to WonderCon when I released my comic book. That would have been great, but I didn't want to wait till WonderCon. I've been wanting to release this comic book. But next year when I go to WonderCon, oh my God, it's going to be crazy. So y'all, that's the Karjakz Vs Assassins universe, the comics, the animation. And look, let me show you the animation. This is something I forgot to show y'all. And then we're going to get up out of here. And look, let me show you the animation from Karjakz Vs Assassins. When you get to version 6, it's pretty much a wrap, man. You just kind of like... Give me a second, y'all. So I'm trying to get the animation intro. Oh, man. Okay, give me a second, y'all. Oh, man. You got to be kidding me. Welcome everybody to the chat. That right there is all you need to see. I mean, that's a done deal right there. To be where I am, to go where I've gotten from version 1, look. Because this is the part 6, this is the last part of this whole Karjakz Vs Assassins thing right here. Which led to Karjakz Vs Assassins Training Day. So I started here, and I'm still going right here. That's called condition. That's called you know what you're doing. So I appreciate everybody, man. Look, y'all, whoever isn't subscribed to my channel, be sure to share, like, and follow on the channel, man. We're trying to grow this thing up to 1,300 before the end of the year. We'd like to take it. We'd like to get there. So, yo, I'm proud of myself, man. So let me get up out here on two things I always say. One, there's no success. And look, you got T-shirts, you got bomber jackets, you got sweatpants. Let me get that stuff so y'all can see it. You got all kinds of stuff. You see this? This is all to commemorate the comic book. This is all version 6 of my characters. You see that? That's them on a bomber jacket. You can get this on a hoodie. You can get this on pretty much anything I sell on my website. You know what I mean? And for those who love all cool stuff, you got to visit soundfish.com. And look, these are the sweatpants right here. I'm going to take them out so y'all can see it. because I'm about to be out of here. Tell me this ain't cool. These are the version 6 of my characters. So I'm putting them on apparel now, sneakers, all kinds of stuff, man. And I cannot wait to go to Comic-Con and WonderCon. It's going to be on and popping up in there, man. You know what I mean? So this is where it's at, man. Sweatpants. You just, when you create characters, you can do pretty much anything you want to do. As long as you're the creator and you're the one who owns it, you kind of don't got to check in with anybody. That's probably what made me stop doing fan art. You know what I mean? I just got tired of the same old, same old. All right, yo. So that's my night, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm up out of here. So look, thank y'all for joining me tonight, man. And there's two things I always say. One, there's no success in skipping steps. The back of the line is just as important in front of the line. Be determined, not desperate. You know what I'm saying? Then the second one, your dreams can be delayed but must never be extinguished. So wait your time while the universe delivers you the right hand. Be determined, not desperate. Y'all, I'm doing my dream from version 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to version 6 to the Karjakz Vs Assassins Training Day comic book. This is quite the evolution right there to be where I'm at, to got where I've gotten, where I've gotten. So I want to thank all of y'all for being part of the chat tonight, man. Thank you for being part of the chat. And look, y'all, as always, y'all, continue to aspire and achieve. Never give up on yourself. Believe in yourself. You're not asking for no permission. You check in with yourself, and you can understand your talent is your right to do as you please with it. And if your dream is to, and if your goal is to make something great of yourself, then do so. So appreciate everybody who continue to join the channel. Be sure to share, like, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? So thank all of y'all for joining me tonight. Continue to aspire and achieve. Stay safe. Continue to aspire and achieve. Have a great week. Stay safe, y'all. Peace.